Good evening and welcome to Joy of the Hobby podcast, episode 20. Ben, we made it, 2-0.
We did
nice
it.
Number to get to. We're coming up into November, which is crazy. We've only got 2 months left in 2025. Yeah. Can't believe that. But here on the Essential Credentials, I feel like we've been, trucking along with our Joy of the Hobby podcast. We're doing really well. Obviously, great to have you here. Looking forward to having a really fun chat about how we deal with some of the lulls in the hobby, because they come and they go and they come and they go, and some of us deal with it differently than others. So I'm really excited to hear from you and people in the chat. But first of all, how is everything going on your end, man? What's bringing you joy in the hobby lately?
Well, number one thing from today that's bringing me joy, kind of hobby related, is my boy Lando Norris won his race in the Mexico Grand Prix today.
Dominant.
So he is now dominant, and 30-second gap on the win, and is now leading the championship. So that was big.
Yep.
Right. The other kind of interesting thing that's bringing me joy, hobby related, is baseball wise, Yamamoto's now thrown 2 complete games in the postseason for the Dodgers. Yep. For those that don't watch baseball, and that's hasn't happened in a long time. Well, really, just pitchers pitching complete games, and I think that, alongside of the Paul Skeens hype, has kind of brought pitchers back into the mix in the hobby, which is for me very exciting, because they're just so important. And they run the game. Them and the catchers run the game. They just don't seem to get the respect they really should. They earn.
Right.
So it's kind of been an interesting change in the hobby that I'm sort of tracking, that I think is exciting and fun to watch.
Right. That is interesting too, because if you look at goaltending and pitching in their respective positions in the hobby, certain pitchers and certain goalies command a lot of money in the hobby. But the majority of the good pitchers, you can find really good cards of great pitchers and great goaltenders for cheap. And
dirt cheap.
Yeah. And it's really interesting when you think about that, because pitchers, a testament is this playoffs, which I appreciate you not bringing up the past playoff series. We're just going to let
we're going to ignore that entirely.
But you see a pitcher struggling a little bit and he gets pulled in 4 innings, and you're like, dude, you would never do that in a regular season game. I get that it's playoffs, but let him work through it, And so to see a pitcher work their way through an entire game, I really hope that his cards and other pitchers' cards do well. Selfishly, I hope that a certain pitcher dominates tomorrow and throws 7.
We are hoping the same thing.
Yep. And then I hope they lose the rest of the series. But so that's great that you brought that up. And great job mentioning Lando Norris. Dominant.
I was actually going to ask if it was the same for goalies. It's defensive positions, I think, tend to be underrated in hobbies. So it's good to see them get some respect.
I know strikeouts are exciting, so people like that, but there's so many nowadays compared to when Randy Johnson was blowing everyone away because nobody was throwing like that except him. So it's a little bit different, but I think for goalies, if you're making a spectacular save, it's great, but you're technically doing it because you're not in position, right? So if goalies are doing their job, you don't hear about them. You just they're winning a lot and not giving up any goals. Like Connor Hellebuck, he really didn't have a spectacular save, but he was incredible, and he won the MVP and the goalie of the year. So it's kind of an underappreciated position. And his cards, you can get a Connor Hellebuck Young Gun for $20, and he's won 3 Vezinas. He was the MVP of the league, yet his Young Gun is $20. Come on.
That's where I'm I don't understand that. Literally the most valuable player. $20. It's wild.
They are, and they aren't, I guess, in the eyes of the hobby. But I think pitchers can be talked about the same way. Yamamoto's, you kind of use their Topps rookie card as a good standard for where they're at. And you look at his rookie card compared to an Ellie De La Cruz, or Paul Skeens. He's got a lot of hype around him, but it's kind of dying off because he's on a bad team. But then you look at another big rookie who's a hitter, so it's interesting to see that comparison. We've got the fake David Mercer here. Interesting how the comment comes up now. You notice that it is not a giant white square. That's pretty cool. And then Jeff, fellow hockey fan, is here. Jeff, nice to see you. For anybody else who's here, feel free to say hello. We're definitely going to have some chances for you to share some of your thoughts. Before we get to that, again, bringing joy in the hobby, I think I always find joy in my own ways. It's been extremely busy at work. I wish I could talk about why it's been so busy, but I cannot yet. But it's been busy for the right reasons. And I think when you're spending that much time, head down, working hard without barely taking a breath, sometimes you do end up kind of, taking a break or having a lull in the hobby. But I'm still loving cards, man. I that will never go away. So
Yeah.
I think for me, I'm still having a lot of joy in the hobby in general. It just a lot of that goes into my work. And it'll be interesting to see when my stuff starts coming out. Hopefully around March will be my first like hobby release that comes out that I built and that everybody worked on my team. So from there, I think it's going to grow in different ways. So that'll be really fun. When we do our new goals for the next year, it'd be really interesting to see how that ties in.
Oh, yeah.
I'm having a lot of fun, dude. And I know you got some great cards to show off. I only have one card to show off. That's been bringing me joy. Funny because we were talking on the phone the other day and I asked if you knew this card, and especially in terms of like the stature that it has in the hobby. I remember when this set came out, I remember seeing it at retail outlets, and I think it might have been a retail only release. I could be wrong. Maybe not. I think it was because the next year was too. Just like holographics baseball in 99 was only retail. So I'm pretty sure this might fall in that same line. I went and watched a box break today to see if it was like hobby or retail, and it didn't say. And this person pulled a parallel from this product. So, I'm really excited. I remember when his base rookie card was absolutely massive, but I've always wanted to get this card back in the collection. So it's the Ultimate Victory, Rick Ankiel out of 100, the Ultimate Parallel. Ultimate Victory Parallel. Great foil board technology that they put on there.
Yeah, what do you call that foil? It has like the wave. For those that don't know, it's kind of like the Ray waves today, but it's like a tighter wave.
I don't know. The foil board that we have access to, that doesn't exist anymore. So it's a company that probably doesn't make it, or we don't use them anymore. But it's a beautiful foil. And like when the guy pulled what did he pull? It was a pitcher out of 100. It was not Roger Clemens. It was not Roy Oswald. Anyway, it was definitely a top 10 pitcher. I'm blanking on it, but you could see it immediately in the background. So the cards really stand out. So I don't know if anybody remembers, but when this came out, the rookies were short printed, and Rick Ankiel's base rookie from this set was $100 out of the gate. And then the Ultimate Parallel with the lines, it's just the lines that are unnumbered. That was like 150 or so. And then this one was like 300 or something back in the day. So if any of you have old Beckett's like Luke does, go pull up 99 Ultimate Victory and look at that Rick Ankiel. It was a pretty big card. And I love the picture. I still have a small collection of his stuff, but that and the SPX Radiance, those are the two Rick Ankiel cards I've always wanted to get in the collection. Now I have them. So that's what's been bringing me joy. What about you, man? You've been getting some cool cards in the mail?
Yeah, and one more shout out to that card. Can we just appreciate that? I believe it's the 99 logo there. It says it's like rookie 99.
Yeah, right there. Yeah.
Yeah. I love when they used to do like very unique rookie logos on cards. Like Upper Deck was really good about that. I think it just makes the card even cooler. So I got a couple things in here. Surprisingly 5 cards come in. Some were just by happenstance. This is the first one I was telling you about before we started. So this is the 2020 Topps, and it's like the rookie reissue with a piece of game used memorabilia on it. I mean, I love this rookie card. I love this 2001 Topps design. And they did it really cool justice. So it has like the retrofractor look on the front.
For sure.
Just a great looking card. And I got like a steal on it. I saw on eBay what they were going for, and I got this one for about half of the price of like the last auction. So it was just like again, wasn't really looking for it. But when you find one for a deal like that, you just go, yep, I'm getting it.
Yeah, for sure.
Here's another one that you might remember. This is the 1999, the SPX Finite, the
beautiful
Premier Stars insert.
Dude,
so
that was like a box hit, wasn't it? Like 1 out of 23.
It's a 1 in 17, but the boxes had 18 packs, so 1 per box, basically.
God, what a beautiful card! Look at that effect in the background. I didn't even realize it was that nice.
It's so nice. $3.
All right, well, time to go get an A-Rod.
I mean, it looks stunning, and some of the other inserts are harder to get, and they don't have the foil finish, that like deep look in the background. So it's like crazy. One other quick one here, since we were on the for the baseball side, 97 Ultra. I did have to bid on this one, and I got the Diamond Producer from Series 2.
Beautiful.
So this one, again, the price of this one, I got this one for like $24. It's one in 288 packs.
Yep.
And it is about a tenth of the price of the Series 1, the acetate, with the foil on it.
No, that's sick.
And this one, I mean, it's really cool too, because it's surprisingly thin, but it's all canvas on the front.
Yep. Mm-hmm.
So it is kind of a cool card. It's just, to me, for a tenth of the price of the same odds for the other version of the Diamond Producers, it's crazy that you can just grab that for nothing.
Dude, that's wild how cheap those versions of the Diamond Producers tend to go, as opposed to the 98s and the 99s.
Yeah, again, it was like after doing the research, I was like, well, this is way underpriced for how rare it is.
Yeah.
And then I had two more bonds I got in. You'll remember this one, 2000 Topps Chrome.
Oh, beautiful. That's such a nice looking card.
All Topps Team Refractor. Again, these were 1 in 160 packs, so like super hard to come by. And again, I really like this one because like the amount of etching on the border and everything is so nuts. Like there's so much detail put onto like those like early, like pre-2002 Topps Chrome inserts.
Right.
And then the last one, this is becoming a set that I'm considering maybe trying to put together because I just love the design, and you'll appreciate it now that you're working for Upper Deck Y. But this is the 1999, a piece of history.
I love those so much.
I love everything about this design. The way the swatch of the bat is designed, name, number. You have the batting picture. You have the close-up picture of him. Then on the back, you get 2 more pictures running, and behind the write-up, you have like a casual picture that's different.
That's so cool.
Front. So you have 4 different pictures on the card, and like such a nice, tight, like streamlined design, focused on the player, focused on the relic. Like,
love it, dude.
What is there to not love about that design? That card, like, they just nailed it. It's perfect.
It really gives me the impression. Can you hold that up again? Like go front and back real quick.
Yeah.
So that card gives me the impression that whoever built that set and designed it, they both had all those things in mind. That didn't just come together like that unintentionally, right?
No.
So whoever built that set and knew they were going to cut the bats that way, which is still the only way those are, I think any piece of history from that year, all the bats are cut with that same, die cutting.
Yeah, it's this one and the 500 Home Run Club both have the same cut, and that's the only year they ever did that cut. Until they did the re-release in 2008, where they did like Frank Thomas and the extra people that reached 500 after that.
Right.
That's the only set they've ever done where they cut the bat that way.
Yeah, no, I love the intentionality of that overall design. I think that's why it appeals to me so much. Funny enough, I lost an A-Rod this last week. I kept bidding up, and somebody else had bid up even more. But like a month or two before, somebody listed one for like 8 bin, not knowing what it was. And it had only been up there for like 2 minutes, and I went to hit buy it now, and it said the card wasn't available. So you know how that goes. Like, people that know those cards will go after them. And so thankfully I've got a beat on another that I can eventually add. But man, that's probably my favorite card. But I have to say that Topps Chrome card, if you could hold that one back up again, one thing that I think people that appreciate design will notice, look at the way on your right or our left that leaf overlaps the photo in the design. Yeah. I think whenever you can have a little bit of overlap, think of Metal Universe in '96 with like Manny Ramirez running and there's like things wrapped around him as he's running. That kind of stuff, I think really just adds just a little bit more to a card. And so I always like when, you can work with the designer and say, hey, can we get some like the text overlapping or some elements covering the player, like something like that, because it really goes and takes it beyond most of the generic inserts that you see out there, right? So
and like a weaving of the design with the photography, so it doesn't feel like separate parts, right? I'm not just like slapping a picture on top of a border, doing a name and calling it a day. It's like, how do we weave these together so it's like one unique
100%
piece that's like thought out? It makes 100%. A huge difference.
Want to get to some comments here. Great cards, Ben, by the way. Really glad those all showed up, especially that back card. Jeez Louise. Yes, I'm sure. Yeah, he definitely does. I agree with that. I'm sure he wants to. Brent, nice to see you as always. This is crazy, Luke. I did not know that you pulled the gold. I think it's like yellow. It's like a yellow canary or something, the 101 of Michael Jordan. I know he probably had a lot of cards like Mark McGwire did in that 99 set where he's got like his own subset, but still.
Oh, that's right.
Having a 101 from that set is absolutely massive. Nice to see you again, Curtis. Thanks for making it. We got Bernard back in the house. It's been a hot minute.
Nice.
Had him, and then Michael as well. Glad to see you. Got a Mariners fan here who's probably suffering just like us, or at least me. Yeah, nice to have you here, dude. Well, Ben, I'm going to let you kind of introduce this topic for us, if you would. I mean, we had a really good question, and it was awesome to kind of hear you whenever we have our discussions about, hey, what do you want to talk about this episode? We'll go through a few things, and you and me are kind of like, yeah, it sounds fun. And all of a sudden something hits, and you're like, oh yeah, I'm really liking that. So yeah, why don't you, if you wouldn't mind, like let everybody know, like, what are we going to be covering today? Because I think it's quite relevant for where we're at currently.
Yeah, so you and I were catching up, and we both were kind of lamenting we've been busy, you with work and just life stuff, and me also busy with work, and we're getting some things in order at the house. We're kind of looking to make some moves on our end. So we were just thinking or talking and saying, man, cards have not really been top of mind necessarily with you and your work, but in terms of like the hobby and collecting, because just the time element hasn't been there, and that's just gonna happen. And so I kind of came to you and was like, I got nothing, man. Like I just has not been something I've been thinking about. The few cards I did pick up here were just kind of like happenstance, found them through a last minute auction or a deal here and there, but I wasn't actively looking for anything really. And you kind of said, well, hey, we should really talk about what it's like to be in a lull. And like those things are just going to happen. Life is going to happen. Periods where you just can't focus on your collection or think about cards too much are going to happen. And like, what do you do with those periods of time? How do you maintain the joy of your cards, or like strategize for like an upcoming period where you are going to have time to get back into it? And that's kind of where we landed, and that kind of it hit home for me, and I think for you as well, just because that's kind of where we actually are for ourselves right now, is figuring out, okay, if we're busy and you're in a lull, how do you how do you fill in that time? What do you do with your lull? How do you carve out time still if you need to? And just raises a lot of questions, right?
Right, which is why I started with this question here. Like, what do you consider a lull? Because, like, even though this has been a lull, I've had a lot of fun grabbing some cheaper stuff that I from my childhood, and I mean, obviously the Ankiel was not cheap. I wish it was. Obviously, we all do, but that was like a big purchase, pretty significant purchase. But I think I'll start, and then I'll throw it to you, and we'll get some comments here. Like, when I think of what is a lull, that kind of means that nothing significant addition wise is coming in to the collection, because I think we're all pretty geared right now with how many new products are coming out, and there's so much out there that you can always find something to add. So I guess for me, and then I'll throw it to you, like, I consider a lull meaning that there's not a lot of significant cards on the radar, like cards that I'm bidding on, cards that are coming in the mail, deals that I'm working on. There is one, but I've been working on it for months, so I'm not going to talk about that or bring it up yet. But I think that's how I would define a lull. But at the same time, it hasn't felt like nothing's going on. But it does feel like when life gets a little bit busier and you're not really like constantly looking at eBay and constantly having cards coming in, that it does feel like things have slowed down a bit, which is not a bad thing. But what about you? How would you define a lull in the hobby for you?
Mine's like a slightly different approach, which is my like energy or feeling towards doing the search, or like I would say like the big one for me is if I'm like not real excited about a card coming in, like maybe I bought it and I was like kind of into it, but there's just no real energy, or I get like annoyed about the fact that I have to like what I would call process the card, like get your photos in, get it logged into your collection. You're like, you should be excited to do that, right? There's almost like for me, it's more like checking the temperature on how I feel about getting my cards in, or my feeling of, do I feel like if I'm going to search and I have a couple cards I'm kind of looking for, does it feel like a chore, or is it fun? So it's more just like checking the temperature for me of like, am I enjoying this or not? And if I'm not, then I feel like, okay, I'm kind of in a lull, or I need to like take a break, or if I'm pushing myself to do this because I'm busy in all these other places and it feels like I must do this now, maybe I need to like take a little bit of a break and like chill for a minute so that I can be excited about it again and like do something else with my cards in the time being.
Right. I like that. And Greg's talked about, shout out to our buddy Greg, who hopefully can get back on here in the near future. I think he goes through that on a more extreme level than any of us, in terms of like, I'm in a lull, I'm backing away like almost completely for like 3-4 months. But then when I come back, I'm like pumped,
Right.
Whereas like, I think you and I have similar approaches to like, we always want to be involved with our collections and with the hobby, but sometimes the level of excitement can kind of come and go. And that usually is not dependent upon like all of a sudden cards suck or we don't like them or whatever. I think it's more like other factors, like the hobby, like level of excitement stays high when there's not a lot of stress beyond, the norm, right? If there's like somebody's getting ready to move, somebody's getting ready to go to expo, move into a new place, life gets stressful, different things, kids, whatever else people have going on. I feel like that can always, it's taking away from your hobby, your fun time, right? And so I think all those things are factors, but I'm curious for everybody. We've got an answer from Luke, which of course he's bringing the humor as usual. But what is a lull to you in the hobby? I'm talking to Jeff and Brent, Curtis. We got who else in here? Bernard's in here. Michael. Like, what is a hobby lull to you guys? Because I'll just give out some shout outs here. Like Michael's great. He gets a video up every couple of weeks about his Griffey editions. He's always positive. He's always enjoying what he's doing. You can tell the excitement is there. Bernard, he just picked up a massive card that he posted the other day. Curtis, we've got Brent and Jeff. I know that they love their cards, but like, what is a lull to you guys? I'm curious because I feel like the take on this is going to be different from a lot of different people. You know what I mean?
And also shout out to Bernard. He did ping me on Instagram and he apparently found some Saros cards that he's going to send my way. So shout out Bernard. That's awesome. Sick. I'm looking forward to it.
Always love when Ben's hobby or hockey collection grows. We've got it. So our first answer here, Ben, I'll let you take it away, man. So what did Luke have to say about this?
Yeah. So Luke, with the humor, said, I feel like I'm in a lull if I forget to check my online searches for more than 8 hours. Which I do get when I'm like in the zone. Yeah, I'm keeping up with them like constantly. To the point where I'm like, oh, if I see one that's a 99 plus for like a broad search, I'm like, oh, I should knock that number down. I should never reach 99 plus.
I don't have any searches like that, funny enough, on my eBay search. I have none. I have none that should populate more than like one or two. Like I have like Darcy Kemper patch and Darcy Kemper auto, which of course you'll get double pinged if it's a patch auto. But typically I hardly have, like, I don't have Marc-Andre Fleury anymore. I used to have that, and it was just so disappointing never seeing anything new. So I just got rid of it.
I've thought about taking those out. So like I do have like just a Barry Bonds all categories, and I think it's a hopeful, like I'm going to scroll through and have somebody mislisting somebody as you're mining for a potential jackpot somewhere. And it is kind of exhausting. I would say that actually leads to a burnout faster than it reap rewards. The number of times I've come across, I actually know it's one time ever I've come across a card like that doing a broad search. That was actually like a huge win. But it's like, it could happen again. It hasn't happened in 4 years.
Well, yeah. And honestly, even though it's not a safe search, we still go back and look at our eBay. So I still search both players by last name all the time. What did Bernard have to say about this?
I was in a lull for July, August, mainly due to other commitments. Yep. There was a very slow period for big cards available for the PC. Yep. And I think that definitely happens too, which can put you in a lull. If you're looking for a few specific things and they just aren't out there, then, and you have the time to still enjoy your cards, you got to find another way to kind of enjoy the collection or do research elsewhere or find, that's where the side quests that we've talked about kind of come in. But
for sure.
Yeah, there are definitely periods. And I've seen that honestly with, I didn't show a single Ichiro card. I only had one come in the past show. Like I'm getting to a point, and I told this to Matt before we started, like in thinking about lulls, I flipped through the Ichiro PC, and I was really happy with the collection of curated to the point where I actually don't feel a pressure to like go grab another Ichiro. There's a few big ones I have on the checklist that at some point I will get, but they're big and they'll take a long time to acquire. And like, I'm in a bit of an Ichiro lull right now, just because, to Bernard's point, like there aren't a lot of Ichiros coming up that kind of fit the curated collection I have for him at this point. So they're just going to be far and few between. I have to have something else to do.
It's important to have those, and I'm right there with you. I told you on the phone a couple of days back. I haven't bought a Marc-Andre Fleury probably in 2 months. If I'm
Which
being
is
honest.
Crazy, yeah.
But I mean, part of it is he doesn't have cards coming out. But I'm also like, I'm not buying any Minnesota stuff. I knew what one I wanted to get. I wanted the high gloss from Extended. I was able to track one down, which was amazing when I was back in Alaska visiting family. But like, I see all these people, and I love it. People send me patch autos. autographs, patches, all this stuff from Minnesota. I'm like, it's cool, but he played that last game in Pittsburgh, and that is what's in my head. So if it's a really cool Pittsburgh card, okay, you've piqued my interest. But like Team Canada, at least for now, and Minnesota, definitely Chicago and Vegas for the most part, like I love what I have from that.
Yeah,
and
that goes back to your curation of like the cards that you've curated that you like of him, and so yeah, there just becomes fewer and fewer options or chases for you.
Yeah, for sure. And I think one thing that would be great is to have, someone like Greg on, and maybe for the end of the year, I'd be really curious to have a conversation with the three of us about like when a collection gets to a point of, because it's not a stopping point. Let's be honest. Greg's still going to buy Tim Salmon. You're still going to buy Ichiro. I'm still going to buy Fleury. But like when you get to a place where you look at your collection and you just sit back and you go, this is pretty amazing. I don't know what else it needs. That is a really rewarding feeling, because I don't think a lot of people feel like they get there with their collections. But then knowing, okay, I've got Darcy Kemper, you've got Bonds, you've got UC Saros, you've got a couple other little inserts you're working on. Luke's got his team stuff. You got people who build sets. I mean, there's always little side quests which make the hobby super fun. And I think that's just a really rewarding place to be. But it does feel like a lull when you're not getting an Ichiro or a Fleury or a main PC guy in the mail. But that's a good thing, right? That kind of goes back to what we talked about at the beginning of the year, doesn't it?
Yeah, and that's an interesting spin. I didn't think we were heading this direction, but that is an interesting spin, that if you look back at your collection and you're like pretty satisfied with what you've built, a lull isn't necessarily a bad thing. It just means maybe it's time to circle back to one of the other things you were thinking about. Like for me, I'm starting to think and have been circling back to doing some more of my vintage research and some spots that are like little gaps in my vintage baseball pre-war stuff that I'd like to fill in, like a different area. And again, those are like few and far between to find the exact ones, but it's a different kind of hunt with like different types of collectors, right? It's almost like if I switch over to hockey guys, and all of you guys are like super fun and totally different to talk to, and then I switch over to baseball, it's like a totally different group of people to interact with. And that kind of keeps it fun and kind of, well, it might be a lull, moves me in like a different direction, different kind of research, joy. It's like a totally different feeling and vibe.
For sure, dude. No, I love being able to kind of switch in between, different PCs and different communities, right? Like between the A-Rod and the Darcy Kemper to Marc-Andre Fleury, like I get to kind of bounce around a little bit, and it really is fun, because you get, you got different collections, a goalie that's cheap, one of the most well-known goalies of all time, and then a controversial figure amongst the baseball fans. But it's really keeps things interesting. A couple things to say here. What did Luke have to say about a lull here?
Oh yeah, I avoid lulls by consuming content like the show to keep the spark alive.
Which, of course, Bernard. Oh, hold on. We don't want to. We don't want to. It's not letting me. It's almost saying that I need to. No. Okay. I was gonna block Bernard from commenting ever again. That would have been sad. But then, of course, Bernard says this is the right answer. I mean, that I think we both agree that I enjoy content like this when I'm just kind of hanging out. I mean, it's going to be more fun, I have to say, when people that follow this show, if they ever go on other shows, I tend to like to watch them.
Totally.
But when you have something tied into it, it makes it a lot of fun. And I think other podcasts where they kind of talk about the joys of the hobby from a positive mindset, there's not a lot of that out there. And that's no shot at anybody else, but it's usually kind of hot takes and new releases and stuff like that, which is great. But I'm glad people are enjoying this. I think it's been fun for us to kind of use it as a way as a soundboard in a way, and keep our spirits high too.
Yeah. And I'll ask the folks out there, like, outside of us, is there other content that you guys like that's kind of like joy, hobby inspired, like focused on collecting, outside of like, the hot take stuff that we all kind of know exists out there in the hobby space? Like, that's something that I think is really good. Like, not just, patting ourselves on the back, but like watching content of other people and like getting inspired or finding other ideas by watching content that's like positive focused in the collecting space, I think is really, really helpful.
For sure. No, I agree. But I mean, we're talking about community too, right? Everything as we've talked about since the beginning and the inception of this show is like keeping connected with a community of collectors tends to keep your joy of the hobby high. And even when you're in a buying lull, you're still enjoying your time in that space. And I think,
true,
that is huge right there. I mean, because think about it, if all of us, all the people that are watching now, you and I, we're all in the same room and just talking about the cards like this and like little groups and whatnot, we'd leave feeling super pumped up. Like, oh, I'm going to go back and do this with my collection because Ben's doing this, or, Luke is collecting this way. Maybe I want to think about, my own, way of collecting. And I think that is also super important. I mean, that's the biggest joy that I get from doing this, is even when I'm in a lull, I have this to look forward to, and I have people that you connect with. I think that is a big thing for me. What about you?
Yeah, actually, it's something I hadn't thought of, but that's a really excellent point, that I could maybe be in like a collecting for my PC lull, but that actually could provide me a time to like lean into the community side of things.
Yeah,
like,
sure.
oh, I'm not getting anything in the mail, but why not like check in with other people and see what they're getting in the mail, be excited for them, or like, what are you looking at recently? Like, one of the things I was thinking about was Luke and getting into the old Beckett's and thinking like, man, I wonder if I should circle back and grab a couple of those key ones that like I had when I was a kid.
Right.
Around like big releases that I was super excited about, or like covers that were great, like an old 2001 Ichiro cover. The All-Star Break Ichiro cover was a killer one.
That was a good one.
Yeah.
That's a good point. I'm going to assume that this account right here and this account are the same person. So Matt, welcome. Congrats on everything going well on your last visit to the hospital. We're happy to have you back. Matt's joy for the hobby. He said, I'm having more fun than ever. I'm getting great deals. I'm side quest within his Astros PC. I mean, that's another discussion for another day, but man, if you're going through something really tough, I feel like the hobby is a really good space, a safe, fun space to come back to when other things are kind of, giving you some troubles or making it tough on you. So great to have you here. What did Ryan Fitzgerald have to say, Ben, about finding joy in the hobby?
Let's see. Ryan said, I probably spent more hobby time since the National on collection curation and moving my best cards to Mag Pros and labeling them properly. Been fun. That's one of the notes I made for myself too, is reorganizing or flipping through, interacting with your collection as it stands.
Right.
Is awesome during a lull. Yeah.
Dude, it's like one of the most important things to do. You know what I mean? Like,
and yet we have to remind ourselves all the time to do it.
Yes.
Like, I constantly have to remind myself, like, you need to open up your cases and go through your cards.
I think we should definitely do an episode in the future where it's like that. It's just, we just put the box next to the computer here and hit play and see what kind of almost like a rummage episode, and it's too bad that we can't, like, if I could find ways for people to send pictures, which I know why that feature is not available on here. I mean, there's some horrible reasons why, but it'd be awesome to have, maybe if I had Instagram, we could have people send us some pictures of some stuff that they're looking through. That could be really fun. Cause it's really important to be able to look at, like, where's all your hard-earned money and time, as you talked about, right? The time cost.
Yeah, like, the sweat equity.
Yeah, what does that look like? Like, you look at your collection. I've got it on 2 shelves now, mostly binders, and 3 of those, 2 of those boxes, like the one you have, and a different box for the air. I don't need a third one probably, but it's when it's all condensed down into that, and you're kind of just sitting there thinking, man, this feels pretty amazing. Take the time to do that. And that's awesome that, Ryan, that you've been kind of doing what Ben and I have done, and in a way kind of like consolidated down to what you really care about. That's the most important thing for sure. Bernard said that he fell victim to watching some of those channels a little late in the summer, and it was draining. I'm guessing he's referring to some of the, hype up, like modern, controversial type podcasts, the ones that have, thousands of subscribers, because, that's kind of what the masses are after, the newer people in the hobby. So yeah, I think it's good to use it to be informative, like what's like the pulse of the hobby, like how is it doing in general.
Right.
But I don't need to listen to people talk about downtowns and kabooms to know that those are popular cards. I think you can figure that out pretty easily on your own. So just throwing that out there. Ryan talked about all of the 4 collectors stuff that those guys put out. I'm assuming.
I'm not familiar.
The For Collectors. I don't know if I know what that is. It's good to know about that.
I'll write that one down.
Talking hobby news, usually negative, makes me want to keep coming back here. Yes, good. I'm glad that was a big part of the show, is always make sure to keep it a positive place to hang out and share our thoughts on the hobby. Pepino Man's been around forever, hasn't he, Ben? I feel like that. I've heard that name.
Oh, yeah.
And he's kind of got like a character that he plays into in his videos, like the way that he talks and behaves, which is cool because he's been around for so long. Like he's one of the OGs, I feel like, of the YouTube community. But there's a lot of really good people out there. I mean, I'll admit it's harder now than ever to, back when we were chilling at home before COVID and during COVID, somebody put out a collecting video like, yes, I want to consume some hobby content because I'm just chilling. But like when Michael, for instance, puts out a new Griffey video and it's like 8 minutes, I'm like, okay, I'm going to save that for lunch. And then when I'm eating lunch at work, I'll pull it up and I kind of sit back and like take it in because I don't want to just listen to it and not pay attention. Right. So it's definitely, I don't know, it's a little bit harder to kind of like set that time aside, but it's definitely important to do that. And those videos are definitely still the most fun, I think, for me, because they're just at their core, a person collecting and enjoying the hobby. Right.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, what did Luke have to say about this?
I'm forced to do it every time I run out of room in a box. Okay, yeah. So like reorganize or go through your collection. It makes me do a full reorganization because I'm particular with the order of things in the boxes. I'm the same way. Yep, I'm the same way. So I still, I guess, carry over from the nostalgia. I still organize everything outside of Bonds and Ichiro and Saros now. Organize them alphabetically, and I have the same index cards from the first box that I had when I was a kid. So I've had them for like 30 years now. It's the same index cards. They're all like worn and torn up a little bit, but still organized alphabetically. But within those, it's like got to be by player, then by like type of card within the player in the section. So I'm the same way, Luke. Which is why it's important to flip through, is make sure you got everything in the exact right spot.
Heck yeah, man. That's awesome. Well, and I think, again, it's any excuse for us to look through our cards is a good excuse. I mean, if you have the time and the ability to set it aside and do that, because it's so easy to forget everything that you have. I mean, I had a few binders out. Like whenever I get new cards in, I have a different binder. I guess I'm old school. I have a lot of just regular binders with pages, even with half decent stuff in them, because I like the way that allows me to organize them instead of in a box. I like being able to flip a page. So when something comes in, I put them in the correct pile and I scan them in, get them in the smart collector platform, and then I get them in the right binder. And so I agree. I think it's nice to be super specific with your organization when it comes to that stuff. It makes it fun, for sure. And then, of course, Matt's saying that he likes to consume that content at night. Kind of wrapping up this segment. We've got a few more minutes left. So we've talked a little bit about it gives you time when you're in a lull, it gives you time to look for your PC, gives you time to look at some side quests. That's always important to do that. Gives you some time to connect with the community. Is there any other things, anything in your notes there that like, okay, when I'm in a lull, I can also do this?
Well, one thing I've been thinking about is, two things. One, does this provide me time if I'm in like a collecting lull to move into like a bit of a selling phase? Because part of me is thinking, okay, if I'm going through and doing some reorganizing and picking up a couple things, but not a lot, and the big things I'm looking for just are few and far between.
Right.
Is this a time to like, as I reorganize things, like slim down or pick a few? I know we won't talk about the trade you're working through, but you're going through one that will consolidate things for you as well.
Yeah.
And I think a lull for me, I'm in my head as I'm thinking through it, I'm thinking that it could be a bit of a consolidation-ish period for me. In a way, because really the more time I have where I'm not picking up new stuff, and that's not the phase of the collecting I'm in, the more time I spend flipping through my collection, and that allows me to kind of like re-gauge the cards as I look at them. Right. I told you earlier, I'm really happy with the way Ichiro stuff stands. I'm flipping through some of my alphabetical stuff. There's a few that I'm like, this one feels a little bit out of place now, kind of. Or as I flip through again, I go, this one, like I'm excited about these 5, and then I hit this one and it doesn't hit me the same way, Right. I'm almost using the lull as like a way to like really gauge and say, could I let some of these things in here go?
Right.
And I would be okay with that. And that kind of frees up some funds to be ready for the next push phase, right?
For sure.
So you almost use it as a prep phase.
So do you, when you get into that phase, are you kind of like going through and like making piles of like, this could go, or is it more of a look through everything and then come back and decide how you're feeling about it?
And I would ask that to the chat too. Like, how do you guys go through when you're curating and looking through and deciding I'm going to let go of some things, unless you're Luke and you don't sell anything? So the way I do it is probably the most neurotic way. I will go through, make a pile of stuff that I think is like on the bubble almost, and I'll let it sit for like a day or two.
Okay.
And then I'll come back and look through the stack again by itself. And I'll almost trim it down and say, is there something here that hits me now that I'm only looking at this stack, not against the whole PC, but just this stack? Does something stand out as a little better, like definitely a no? So I'll curate the same stack over and over again to make sure I really want to let this thing go.
Interesting. Huh.
So I don't just go like, okay, here's the cell stack and it's in the cell stack and it can't move back. I have moved cards from the PC to a cell stack back to the PC a number of times.
Yeah, and I've done it too. You know, yeah. I definitely have like a trade pile of Flurry, a massive trade pile actually. And then I went through it again after like a week because I went and inventoried everything that I have for trade to move. And then I went and found, I think, 6 cards that I decided to keep. And none of them were like big cards. They were all like jersey cards or whatever. But he's wearing my favorite mask in them. And I'm thinking, well, am I going to be sad it's gone right off the hop? Probably not. But then I can't remember the last time I've seen that card for sale again.
Right.
Even though it's a $12 or $15 card. It's like those 90s inserts that just don't ever show up, but they're not expensive, even though when they do. So it's I don't know. It's kind of one of those things, you know.
Yeah, it's a tough game, and that's one of the games you play in a lull, right? As you're doing this, like going through your collection, you're going opportunity cost here. Okay, it's not an expensive card, and I could let it go, but then will it take me a lot of time to try to find another copy if I decide I want it again, or like what would I get in place of this that I would enjoy more? I start playing that game too, like. Okay, let go of these 3 bonds cards or these 3 Ichiros or whatever. What am I going to replace those with? Even if it's 1 card for the price of those 3 that I would be happier with, right?
Right.
You know,
no, for sure. It's you're always kind of looking at that, but you never want to. I feel like you don't ever want to play the dangerous game of like, oh, I'm kind of feeling negative about the hobby. I'm just going to sell everything or whatever, because I love what you're talking about as far as like setting a pile of stuff to the side that's a maybe sell / trade or whatever you want to call it, the move pile,
right?
And letting it sit for a couple of days, and then you come back to it and you say, okay, I was like an emotional high of like, I want to really thin this out because you're getting ready to move, or at least temporarily move.
Yeah.
Then looking through it again, you think of, okay, what's the story attached to every single card in this pile here? And I remember when I was doing that, I was like, I bought this because it looked cool, or like somebody said it was a cool card. You know, but then I go to this one. I'm like, okay, he's wearing my favorite mask. It's a, Flair Ultra game jersey card. I love the design. I'd love to like see a modern version of that. That's staying. So I feel like it allows you to evaluate that decision again, as opposed to
totally.
Here's everything. Goodbye. Andy Burkett, shout out to Andy. I know he's done that before. Tanner, he's probably another guy that could speak to that. But he loves it. That's kind of a game for him. But still, I'm sure both would probably say, I kind of regret this, and so you never want to be in a position where you regret something you've sold. Although shout out to my buddy Tyler Mild. He just bought his first Maguire in over 2 years because he's got 2 kids at home and he's busy. But if you remember, he's a big Maguire guy.
Yep.
He told me a long time ago, he says, when you sell something, you've sold it. Don't even look at any other future sold listings. You're done. You moved on. Like just you're over it. And that was a huge piece of advice. So I just want to throw that out there real quick, because if you don't do that, you're going to kick yourself over and over again. Right?
Oh, totally. Yep. You just say you've moved on, which is why when I think back to our topic of being in a lull, why being in a lull, that's a good time to do this evaluation. And you have the time, the luxury of the time, if you're not in like a push phase or a big buying phase,
right?
To kind of put those aside, think about it, flip through the stack again. Kind of like really evaluate which ones you really want to let go of. That's kind of one thing we had put down is like moving into the holidays, and people are going to be selling, moving things around, getting money for presents, whatever, travel for the holidays. Like stuff is going to come up for sale that you kind of only see around this time of the year. And
Yep.
so while I'm in this lull, part of me is thinking, okay, what stuff do I want to like put aside as a trade, liquidate pile, kind of in prep for what will potentially be like a small buying season.
Right. Yep. Exactly. No, I feel you. We talked about that on the phone. It's like I feel like I could probably find half a dozen Marc-Andre Fleury, like pretty significant cards that I've purchased in December. Like I know for sure. Now, one of them had been up there for a while, but like I think not only are things coming up for sale, but you're buying gifts and you're like in that like what is it like is it serotonin is like super high in your system, like you're just like super giddy about cards and buying and all this other stuff, so you tend to get really good stuff then, but people also are trying to recoup funds for the holidays or whatever, so like December is a good time to prepare for. Like November is kind of slow. I remember I feel like around Thanksgiving I see like nothing, and then all of a sudden December rolls around and people got to pay for new Christmas lights and gifts for the kids and decorations.
Plane tickets to go visit family and all these expenses come up around the end of the year, and all of a sudden some cards show up. So like if you are in a lull right now out there and watching, like I think this is a good time to be like prepping for that season where something might come up that you've been looking for.
For sure. A couple more comments. Yes. You'll know about it. Fingers crossed when I come back from the expo.
Yeah.
In a couple weeks. We're gonna have to adjust when we do our episode, unless I can do it from my hotel room the night before I come home. If I can do that, then we'll be able to. I'll be able to show what that is. But what did Bernard have to say about selling, Ben?
Let's see. Bernard said, I can't get myself to sell anything yet, but it's just a matter of time. When the card is available, I'll be more willing to let it go. Did, however, just make a trade, which was a first. Nice. Man, trades. I enjoy trades or gifting cards more than like selling a card and buying another. Like a trade is absolutely the best by far. I can't remember ever trading for a card and ever getting rid of it. I think every card I've traded for, I think I still have.
That's a great question. I don't think that's probably true because I ended up selling all my A-Rods, so that definitely doesn't ring true for me. But you haven't gone through a major, collection.
I've never done a big, liquidation or sale or big move or pivot in my PC. Right. I think, that wouldn't count if I did a huge pivot. Like if I said, oh, I'm done with Ichiro today and moving completely over to here.
Right.
Then obviously that would not be true anymore.
For sure. But that's a great point. We definitely should do an episode about trading as well and bring someone on that's done quite a bit of that, because it is quite rewarding. So Ryan talked about digging through $1 boxes at shows, and he looks through his current collection for cards I can sell for $5 a few times a year and submit those to ComC, so I can fund other purchases. Actually, interesting enough, I'm about to go through my first ComC. ComC. I have a bunch of Tyler Glasnows and Duncan Robinsons, 2 side quests that were fun. I still care about both of those guys, but I was just realizing that it was basically like lighting money on fire, which is not a big deal when you collect somebody. Like if I was like related to one of those guys, then I would care less. I would just collect all their cards because there was even more invested. But eventually that's taking away money that I could be spending on, cards that are going to mean even more to me. And so I had to make that decision. So they're all like 95% of both those collections are in big, 1-row boxes that are going to be shipped to them, or I'll bring them to the expo to deliver them in person. So I'm excited to see what that's going to be like, putting stuff for sale on ComC. But that's a great way to go about it.
Yep.
Interesting what Matt had to say, Ben, about selling.
I started last year selling my autos. No point in having 30 to 40 of a player. Kept my favorite 3 World Series and playoff picks only. Again, curation. I think that's one of the best things you can do, especially in a lull period, is like curate, look through, figure out if you have like bloat somewhere or something that like. I think that's an excellent point. Like, okay, Ichiro, for example, I have 1 Ichiro auto in my whole PC, and it's the 2001 SPX rookie.
It's a good one. There's one more you need.
I know. I have one other one I need. But think about, for those that aren't in baseball, Ichiro is like beloved by the game, even though he's retired, and he signs every year at like every single product, thousands of cards. Like he has autos everywhere.
I'm sure
they pay him great money and he signs everything. He's so nice. He signs every card ever that they ask him to sign. But I don't have any of those. Like,
good. Don't need them.
Yeah. And that's to that point, it's like you really don't need every auto of that player, just something special, something that you really, really are going to enjoy looking at.
I'm looking at the other two comments here, and I'm going to say, how about no to that?
Hey,
no,
yeah.
Here's what's going to happen. He's going to dominate, and then they're going to lose 1-0, and then the Blue Jays will win the next 2 games. So he'll do fine tomorrow, but hopefully his team does not afterwards. But anyway, that's all I got to say about that. I'm not rooting for the Dodgers, but I do want Glasnow to.
We're rooting for Glasnow
to do well. And say what you want. He's been freaking awesome.
Yep.
I think he's given up 1 run, and every inning he's given up 1 run the entire time he's pitched this season. So, I think he's doing all right. But, great discussion. Lulls are going to happen. Lulls are going to come and go. But I think it doesn't mean like, oh, I'm in a lull. It's like, cool, I'm in a lull. What do I get to do with my time now? What do I get to do with this spare energy that I have? Okay, nothing's coming in the mail. No major purchases. Great. Let's see what I have to sell. Right? What else? What else, Ben? So you look at what you can sell. What else can we do afterwards?
Yeah. Look what you can sell. Is there another place to like switch gears? Is there another thing you can find on the perimeter? If it's like collecting related, right? Like I mentioned Beckett or a memorabilia kind of thing. Is there something like on the outside that you could do?
Right.
That kind of like keeps you involved in the collecting hobby space, reaching out to people, socials, collecting group, go to a show, even if you don't buy anything. I actually enjoy going to a show with no money sometimes and just go, what's out here? Bring a couple cards, maybe make a trade if you can.
Right.
Just going for like the enjoyment of the community, right? Like
for sure. And let's not forget, take some time and look at your cards. Like, you might not have a bunch of new stuff coming in, but take some time and go look at the cards that are awesome. You know what I mean? Like you've all got amazing collections. I know you all do. And there should be no, I'm not going to go like biblical here, but I mean, there is a quote about like not comparing yourself to others. And I think it goes true in the hobby. Like I can't look at Ben and be like, oh man, he's got a way better rookie collection of Ichiro than I do of Fleury. Like, oh man, like I wish I had. No, like what makes you happy? Like maybe I do collect Duncan Robinson. I'm like, I could care less what this is worth, but I have got the coolest, to me, most complete Duncan Robinson collection on the planet. Great. Well, then that's what makes you happy. Who cares what anybody else thinks? So I think it's important, like, go take a look at your cards and enjoy them, enjoy all the hard work and time and money and everything.
Actually, I'm thinking this too, like to your point of everyone in here probably has great collections.
Yeah.
Go look through your collection. I guarantee you, and I'm going to do this later this evening too. You will find one card you kind of basically forgot about, like you logged it a while, and you'll look at it and you'll be like, this is such a cool card.
Yeah.
It's almost a fun game to play.
It is. It's too bad.
I will do that and bring that to the next show. Like, here's the card that I found that was most surprising in my collection that I like didn't even think about.
I'm looking forward to that for sure. It's too bad Doug is not here because Doug's been posting on Instagram. He's the beret guy. Card that there's that one Instagram story thread going around, a card that's bringing you joy, and that one seems to keep going for a couple weeks here. I just use that post as a story post. I go to my Fleury box, I look through, and I pull out a card, and I take a picture. Like just today, I posted that A-Rod ultra talented. I mean, like, cool card. Holy
such
smokes.
A great card.
I haven't looked at it in like 2 months.
Yeah,
so
right.
I think it's important to constantly do that. So maybe I have a fun idea. I don't want to give it away. That a fun way we can open the show in like terms of like playing into that a little bit. So we'll chat about that afterwards. But yeah, all great suggestions. And we've talked about this before, Ben. Like, we are not experts. I don't think anybody in this chat is experts, unless maybe you think you are. Congratulations if you are. But I think even look at somebody like Rodney, right? I consider him to be one of the most knowledgeable 90s guys on the planet as far as cards go.
Yep.
Not only does he have some of the rarest, craziest Griffies, but he spent so much time learning everything. And you could say, Rodney, where did this card come from? It was this. Like, sure, even if you are an expert, you know what I mean? It doesn't mean that you can't sit back and just kind of enjoy what you've got going on take time to hang out with the community. Like there's so many little things that you can do to continue bringing you joy. And yeah, a lull is not a bad thing. Lull is not a bad thing at all, for sure.
No.
I consider it to be a blessing sometimes. I don't know about you.
Yeah, well, after this conversation, I'm thinking about it now that way, because I mean, honestly, when we first talked on the phone, my idea of a lull was like, oh, it's just like a low period. So I'm just like, ugh, kind of lame. I'm in a lull. It's like, well, actually, it's an opportunity. Yeah, you kind of have to spin it in your head. Like, you have a chance here to like look at what you have, catalog, figure out if there's things that you could move. Is there a trade you want to set up?
Yeah.
You know, find some other content or other things that are interesting to you that you want to research or look into or watch. Like, yeah, it is like an opportunity.
For sure. I love it. That's a great way I can't say it any better than that. A lull equals an opportunity, right? Mm-hmm. So take advantage of it, for sure. Yep. Well, this has been a fun one, man. Obviously, next couple weeks is going to be pretty exciting. Got my first expo coming up. I'm flying out, not this coming Wednesday, but the Wednesday after that, which it's the first hockey show that I've been to. So just imagine the national, but 90% of everything is hockey instead of baseball. And so it's going to be huge. It's going to be, but it's not just that, just like connecting with everyone there, connecting with collectors. I think all those things are going to be really exciting for me, and it's going to be great to have a couple really fun opportunities while I'm there as well, and hopefully meet some new people, get some ideas for sets. You know, just I feel like my coworker Tony says it best. He goes, you know, man, our heads are down. We're working our butts off here. We build 20 sets or whatever before we go to a card show. But then when we go to the expo and we're representing our company, you get reinvigorated because you see all the kids. For me, it's gonna be the kids, but like all the kids and all the people just like loving the hard work that we've all put in front of them. You know, and it's a bummer, like the design team and all the people in type and all these other people in pre-press don't get to come and see that, because their work essentially is being appreciated right there. And it's a very motivating thing. So I'm pretty excited to experience that for the first time and report back. Hopefully my work laptop will allow me to do this Sunday night before I get on the plane to fly back the next day. So yeah, I'll be looking forward to that episode in a couple weeks.
Oh, I know. You'll have a big reveal for the trade. And I also have a pretty decent big card coming in as well. So we'll both have some nice, cool reveals for that show.
Can't wait, man. That's going to be super, super fun to see because I like you said, it's just as exciting, if not more exciting, when you know your good friends in the hobby have something they're excited about. It comes back to when we were kids, right? Like imagine when we got excited looking at your buddy, like, dude, you got a Griffey base card? No way, that's so sick. Like, I don't think we ever want to lose that, for sure. I just wanted to give Jeff a shout out here. I'm with you, dude. I don't know if I'll ever be back to that at some point, because there's quite a few Fleury autos that are unique in terms of like their design, but I think I could probably get it down to like 25 if I really had to, but even then that would be tough because all those cup autos are so nice. But I could probably do it. And then congrats. Would do a golf clap for Luke. He bought his first football card. Nice. The doors are slightly open, so good luck on your endeavors in the football world. And then Ryan had a great comment. So I don't collect hockey, but I really love looking at the card designs of vintage hockey, like the Patrick Waugh rookie card, the Mario rookie, the Gretzky rookie, the Gordie Howe, the Bobby Orr, like those Jacques Plante. Those are huge cards out there. So big shout out to I almost bought my first retro hocky card, so I know that would make you excited. Maybe I'll come back on the expo.
You start dabbling into vintage, we have a whole new lane of conversation.
Yeah, I don't think we're going back that far. I really don't like vintage goalies, no, but Patrick Waugh, yes, that will be a card for sure. So, all right, everyone. Well, thank you so much for hanging out with us. The comment section was wonderful tonight.
Yeah, thanks, guys.
Appreciate the reinvigorated group in there. It does help to have our friends Matt and Bernard and Luke in the chat, but we appreciate Jeff, Ryan for making it. We got a couple responses from Brent, who was here. Curtis made it in here. Michael made it in here. So yeah, Matt, of course. So yeah, thank you so much for your time.
Yeah, thanks, guys.
And hanging out. Matt, Ben, any closing thoughts on your end?
I'm going to be focusing more on taking this little lull that I have to prep for the holiday season, because I know just like you, there's going to be something that comes up and I want to be ready for it. So I'm going to be now turning this lull into an opportunity to prep.
Yes, indeed. No, it's going to be fun. Yep, I'm excited for what's to come for sure. A lot of exciting things. Like I said, a lull is an opportunity, and I think that is one of the best ways to sum it up. Bernard, can't wait to meet you. Please,
nice.
Get in touch with me early next week. We'll either find a time to meet up on the show floor, or you can come to the Upper Deck booth. I'll be working there part of the time for sure, so that'll be really fun. Matt, continue good health on your end. Hope you're doing well. And thanks everyone for hanging out with us. We'll see you in a couple weeks. Take care.